Hi everybody, welcome to another quick tip video. My name's David and today we're going to talk firmware. Now you can upgrade your OM1's body firmware to version 1.2, but first of all you need to make sure that you've done the first firmware update, which was version 1.1, and before that you'll need to make sure that you've updated your OM Workspace software, because that's where we're going to update the firmware from. Now of course in the past we've been able to do this via the OI Share app, but on this occasion version 1.1 and version 1.2 are best done through the OM Workspace software. So follow me while I go through version 1.1 and then we'll get to the end and see what version 1.2 adds in. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is open up your OM Workspace software, and then once you've opened that up you're going to be able to go up to the top tab and press Help. Click on Update Software and then you'll get this little screen here where you can click OK to update the software. You'll see a little message saying that it's connecting to the server and downloading the update program. Of course, you will have to give whatever system you're working on the permission to allow that update. So once that pops up on your screen, you'll want to just click that and say OK. Once it's done that, it will connect to the server and show you what you're updating. It'll show you what version you're on, the file size and the date of the release here as well, which is May 2022. You can click Continue Updating, read the message and click OK. So that will just update depending on your internet connection, will depend on how quickly that happens. But once that's all gone through, there'll be a few different screens showing you the update process. The README file might pop up and you can get rid of that and allow OM Workspace to load in the background with the up-to-date version that you've just installed. Right, so now that we've updated the OM Workspace software to the most current version, we can now start to plug in our camera and update the OM1's firmware. But before we do that, we need to make sure that two things are happening. One, that you've got an absolutely fully charged battery for your OM1. And two, you're going to use the cable that came with your camera in order to do this. So this is the USB-C to USB-C cable that came with your camera. And it's really important that you use that because this is going to be a data connection that needs to stay stable. Okay, so we've got our OM1 and then the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to plug in the USB-C cable into the side of the camera. Now you'll see here that I am actually using the protection cover for the cable that's on the side of the camera there, and it just means that I can successfully slot in my USB-C cable and it will go in without damaging anything, and it will also not be knocked out very easily, so that's a really useful tool to have on there. Now then we're going to switch on the camera. Once the camera is switched on, we are going to select storage at the top here, press OK, and the camera is going to say 1 moment. The camera is obviously communicating now with whatever computer you have running, and you'll see just a little flashing memory card icon in the top left corner whilst it's doing that. Now once the camera is connected and we've selected storage and it's quite happily sitting there connected to the computer, then we can either open OM Workspace or go back to it if it was already open on our desktop. Once we're back in OM Workspace, it's a nice easy process to update the camera. So remember, our camera is connected via the cable that came with it, it has got a full battery, and it is switched on and we selected the storage option. Now we're going to go up to the tabs at the top of the page and we're going to click Camera and we're going to click Update. This will minimize the OM Workspace and then it will bring up the update software. You may have to allow this depending on your system's configuration in security settings. There'll be a brief screen that pops up with notes on updating the software, and this is simply telling you that it is really important to use that USB cable and make sure that your battery is fully charged. Also make sure that you've got a stable internet connection, is very, very important. Click Next and OM Workspace Updater software will connect to your OM1. You will get a series of screens warning you if anything is going to happen, so you should make sure that you read everything that comes up on your screen. For example, this one that says, for firmware updating, the camera will restart automatically, so make sure you don't disconnect the camera from your computer until the whole process is complete. And then this workspace message which asks you to check the LCD monitor. Now of course this is just being cautious and asking you to reselect the storage option on the back of the screen to make sure that the camera is in the correct mode to do this firmware update. So all you've got to do is check storage on the back screen and press OK. Once you've done that, you can click OK on that message. Next, you'll see the OM Workspace update screen, and this is where we'll find out exactly what update we have. So this is the OM1 and current version 1, and the newer version that is available today is 1.1. We can click on here to check the details, and that will bring up a web browser to show you exactly what firmware has changed. If you're happy to carry on, just click Update in the bottom right hand corner of this page. And then OM Workspace will again warn you that once the firmware is updated, we cannot return to the previous version, so there is no rollback. And do we want to continue? Yes, of course we want to update that camera. We obviously have the software license agreement that you can read and then click OK. There is another message that will tell you that all the latest settings will be saved prior to the firmware update. So the software will take all of your custom modes and everything else, load them into its memory, and then once the update is complete, it will reload them back for you. Remember, this is an OM1 and that's the process on OM1. So we're just going to speed through this and we'll watch it go a little bit faster. Once all this has happened, we'll get some more screens, and ultimately what we're waiting to see is a big OK message on the back of the camera. Once you get this message, you do need to click confirm that update is complete and confirm that camera has been turned off again. And then when you see the OK screen on the back of the camera, click next. The program then reloads all of the latest settings and my sets. Once that's complete, the camera has automatically rebooted back to the normal USB screen. You can of course continue updating if you want to add firmware updates for any of your lenses. You can click continue updating and then it'll start again from the same process. You can just change the lenses as and when you need to carry on updating. Now this firmware update is going to add stability for your OM1 and also some functionality for the Atomos external video recording monitor, so worthwhile doing the firmware. Now the version 1.2 firmware adds even more stability to the already excellent OM1 performance. So it's really important that you keep yourself up to speed with these firmware updates, just making sure that you follow the steps and use that original data cable along the way. Of course, if you need any help, you can always reach out to one of your regional OM system supports like me and we'll be happy to help. I hope the video has been useful and I look forward to seeing you on the next quick tip video. But for now, take care and bye bye.
Defy the moment with OM System.